thank you so much for doing this for us. Thank you for taking the time out and agreeing to do this and being part of this campaign. We really appreciate your efforts and your input on this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All appreciation from my side as well to including me in your campaign.
And to you, a very happy National Women's Day. So we're gonna do this on Women's Day. So congratulations to you on that.
I really thank on behalf of the whole women category which I belong to. Thank you so much for
Our
recognizing.
pleasure. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. In fact, I chaired one or two meetings, which was very successful, and I was looking forward to answer a couple of your questions. Feeling good.
That's amazing. More power to you. So let me start at the very beginning. Like, what inspired you to start Trainwell, and how did you come up with the idea?
Okay, let me begin with the very beginning.
Yeah.
When I moved in India back in my country, I did my further studies in Canada, UBC, and there I did my corporate training. Where the difference in between here corporate learning and their
Right.
corporate learning is quite different. So when I moved in, I saw that the market was down, and at that time, the recession period I'm talking about. 2012 11 12 when I moved in,
Okay. Wow.
so there was quite a difference between the campus to corporate kind of a feeling. People who are coming out of campus were not
Right.
very well fitted to corporate. So the thought was very instigating that I don't want to cater to corporate first. Maybe I
Mm-hmm.
will go to the student level to work
Right.
at the and the base. So I found that the student category who are graduating, they lack language, they lack personality,
Right.
confidence, smartness, which we see right now in the students. That was quite different at that time. I'm talking about 10 years before. So
Okay.
we need to settle down that gap. That's the reason I opened a small institute named, that time it was named as Apex Academy, which was also into placements. So the person
Okay.
who is coming down, undergrads, we are nurturing them for a couple of months for English
Right.
and various other personality sources, and then resource them again. But then later on, we transform it to corporate. So now it has been
Okay.
termed more into Trainwell Academy, which is purely into corporate training, where
Okay.
we found that the students are much smarter over the period of time. They are understanding English well, they're
Right.
conversing English well. But
Right.
where the lack is right now is corporate. When you're fresher,
Okay.
you're entering the market, they are unable to cope up with the corporate transfusions. So
Okay.
those new you has to be nurtured. That's where
Right.
we are into right now.
Wow, that's a brilliant insight into it. Do you think now this colleges or this schools have upped their game, and do you think that students nowadays have that confidence or smartness or presentability or communication skills available for them to get into the entry level of the corporate world?
Yes, to an extent, couple of colleges have done drastically very well. The gap is too huge right now. The college
Okay.
category of A level college category, the students are really doing well. They are smart. They are conversing well. Their language capability is well. Their communication is well. But
Okay.
somewhere when I talk about A category college, they
Right.
also have this kind of a lack of confidence. The reason, there is no structured guidance given in the curriculum.
Okay.
So the technical studies are way too in depth, whereas to support that, the English or the
Right.
other soft skills are taken very lightly. So the
Okay.
moment you step into it, you can find out the hollowness in them. Their language,
Right.
though they are speaking English, but they are not structured English. They are that
Okay.
college yo English, which you can talk about.
Okay, but do you think what you're talking about soft skills? Do you think that college or undergrad level students at that time we are about 18 and plus? Do you think that is the right time for the teachers to introduce soft skills, or do you think it has to happen at a lower level? school
Very
or
early
high
level, in
school?
the sense very schooling level, soon after
Okay,
your 10th, when you are actually deciding for your stream, which is
right,
arts, science, or commerce. You need to
right,
understand what is the background. If you have enough knowledge, for example, if you are very good in math, science, or any other
right.
subject, if you have language background, if you have capability to put your communication across, it becomes much easier for you to grasp any other language, any other subject.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. And then when you were setting up your first institute, coming back to India after studying in Canada, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced? And I'm sure that India has come up a lot now, but I'm guessing 10 years ago, women setting up an institute.
Oh yes, that was the
What
biggest
kind of
challenge, yes.
challenges did you face, especially being a women entrepreneur?
First of all, if I gather and I mention those things, the first was making an authoritative first impression,
Oh,
being a
right.
lady entrepreneur. So they used to take us very lightly. Okay, you are into business. Soft skill. First of all, they were not aware of soft skill. What is a skill
Can imagine.
development? Is this? Yes, actually, it was beyond imagination to them and to me as well. It came as a surprise, so they don't know. Still now, I will tell you later on what happens right now as well. So getting unsolicited, undevised advices, those what you're doing, come into this, you're so good in that, you're so good
Oh,
in
wow.
this,
Okay.
those kind of unsolicited, unvaluable advices I used to get. Battling with unrealistic expectations as well. So their expectation was, मैम 2 महीने में इंग्लिश सीख जाऊंगी ना. उस to यार, आप 12 साल में नहीं सीखे हो. 2 months is too short. So you have to give them into a realistic. Those are the things which I really faced. And of course, overcoming those self doubts. Even they used to put me on that self doubt mode, that really I would be able to transform them, or which field I am right now. Am I doing the justice? So those kind of things were very threatening when I started my own organization.
But do you think it still happens in India? It still happens here?
Of course, they are unaware whether they have a skill gap, or they still now I receive such kind of messages and emails which they understand that I am a gym trainer. They ask me about which kind of muscle you should train. Where is your gym? Which gym you are associated with? I said, corporate training में क्या क्या आता है? I said it is flavored with ice cream and vanilla. So all unexpected question which I received was is hilarious, and I find the market is still so innocent and virgin, that they really want to explore. But dukh bhi hota hai uske saath, you feel grief that they are still now, when we are talking about advancing ourselves in technology,
Right.
etc., still they are so way beyond. Yes, that's a poor part.
Wow, that's fascinating to know. Let's talk about how you started Trainwell. Did you have
Oh,
to?
some of questions are.
Please, please go ahead.
So your voice is lacking, I believe, in between. There is little difference in between your and my
Oh,
communication.
there's a lag. Okay. Is it
Yeah,
okay
it is
now?
lagging. Yeah, it is better. Yes.
Yeah. So I was asking you, Ki, did you have to raise funds for the startup, or did you have to build a team, and how did you come about that?
Okay, the raising fund was not very much issue at that time, because I
Right.
just began with one small room with a little of a
Right.
infra. So my mentor was there, Mr. Sunil Thakur, who helped me out with setup, with allocation. Yes, building up the team. Picking up the right kind of team
Right.
to first initiate was little of a challenge. People were not interested, didn't have trust in me first, didn't have trust on the model first. So yes, that
Right.
was the challenge, but then uh, raising fund wasn't much.
Okay. Okay. And like you've been active for so many years in the industry. How has the market received Trainwell, and what has been your key success factor?
The important that my product actually meets a lot of need of the chosen target. I mean, the
Right.
target profile was very obvious to me. So the key success stands if you know the end product and meets which kind of a target product. So that gave
Right.
me the a lot of success in that I identified my end customers and which product will suit whom. So that was a better one, and the market welcomed Trainwell at that moment of time because it was a new of its own kind.
Right.
The soft skill was getting slowly accepted with many of them, but the colleges outright rejected because they didn't have that much of pocket size. Now they are
Right.
increasing. It's an expensive course. They think that it will come within 4,000, 5,000 kitty, but it is
Yeah.
expensive thing because
Right.
it is involved with a lot of experts, a lot of
Of course.
what technology has been going inside there. We cannot stay what we used to do in 10 years before. We had to evolve with the system, with the students, with the technology as well.
Obviously. Right. Right. Okay. And all these years you've been in the industry, can you talk about certain milestones that you or your company has achieved, and something that that's always in their mind, that milestone, maybe it's your first client, maybe it's monetary, or maybe it's some award that you still remember, even if it's not too big, but that's the milestone that you have in your mind. Do you have any such milestones that you want to share with us?
Of course, there are a lot to share with, but name one or two is when I actually started with a program which we call as air hostess training, and
Okay.
I will not actually take the name of the organization, but that organization bought lot of students from Vidarbh area. I hope you know the
Okay.
meaning of Vidarbh area. So there were
Right.
a challenge of 220 students coming from very vernacular medium and from Vidarbh
Right.
area, and we have to transform them within the month of 6 months to be launched in various air
Wow.
hostess, various cruises, A-star cruises, various hospitality like 5 stars, etc., not beyond that. So that was one of the challenge where I faced to transform. First bring them their grooming, then the
Right.
second milestone was for their English, and their confidence. So these three layers we passed out very well. Now I can be proud that few of them are flying Cathay Pacific. Few of them are
Wow.
in a very big 5 star hotels. Naming very big is there. One recently, one of my student called that she is now in Ritz Carlton, and
Wow.
um, and beyond. Few are in Mumbai, few are in Delhi, few are
That's
in
amazing.
Canada. So
Wow,
that's one of the
that's
biggest one.
amazing.
Yes.
Do you still offer your services to colleges, or do you have only ventured out to corporate world now?
Now we have stopped colleges because they don't
Okay.
value, and the
Right.
student degrade it. As of I have a student category who are
Right.
not appreciating this because they are overloaded with their own theory and
Okay.
technical subjects, etc., and they take this as a vocational. They will only categorize it in a weekends. So that mode, if you bring in soft skill as a weekend
Yeah.
category, this will not work. It is not a party.
You mentioned something about knowing what kind of product that you were offering, and more importantly, who you were offering it to, your target audience.
Exactly.
Do
Right.
you think that that was your USP, or what do you think is your USP? What differentiates Trainwell from other institutes that are present in the country now, or in Pune now?
To be very honest, what differentiate Trainwell is we don't work for uh, in the sense. Just a minute.
Right.
We don't work for people. We don't work for that subject matter. We work for people. So to
Okay.
get into their mindset, to understand their requirement, to get
Right.
into we involve in their well-being. So nurturing their core and understanding what exactly they need and addressing that is the main
Right.
USP, rather than superficially covering up that yes, this is the 9 to 8, 10 hours of training and the soft skill is done and tata bye bye. Not like that way.
Yeah.
We also hold their hand till they want any other development,
Okay.
till they need any other challenges. So yes, we commit ourselves to an extent where they still, where there are students of mine who were 10 years back with me, and still now they acknowledge me,
Wow,
asking on this Guru Purnima, they will acknowledge the teachers day, they will acknowledge, that's a proud moment
that
when you
must be
feel
nice.
that
That's
they
nice.
still remember you. Yes.
I'm sure that it must be very nice to appreciate being appreciated from your students and to see this as an actual subject or something that is very important in life, especially in the corporate world. I've seen these things happen. It's not just your technical background and technical knowledge that you have or the skills you have. It's also how you present yourself, how confident you are about
Absolutely.
what you can do, and your communication skills, your soft skills, obviously. And it's actually really nice to see that people have also started at least appreciating what it brings, the value it brings, and hopefully they also have the knowledge to pay the value or pay for the value that you guys are imparting to them. Let me ask you this, Key.
Of course.
Throughout so many years, what would be some of the few core lessons that you learned as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur?
Okay. If you want me to tell on those, what are the key, just what is the question again? If you can just ask me once
Yeah,
more.
sure. I was wondering if you learned any key valuable lessons as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, something that stuck in your mind, some mistake that you made, and you're like, okay, this is something we are not supposed to do, or some kind of lessons here and there that you learned, and they're still there, and you still follow that.
Of course, I think that one thing I should remember, that it takes time. The
Okay,
biggest thing that you should remember, it takes time. It will not happen over the period of time. So yes, it takes
right,
time. That's what I've learned. One another thing is, as a female entrepreneur, there would be
right,
several different challenges which generally a male will not follow. So
right,
I accepted that, and I don't
right.
really am a feminist. I'm not at all. I feel that we are created differently, and
Of
men are
course,
created differently. Our thinking,
right,
our process is different. Their process and their thinking is different. So there is no competition as in between
right.
us. It's only love that can follow. So that is one thing. Another one is confidence, that I have raised my business from zero to level what I am right now still achieving. So that confidence that you have to raise from your failure, what you've learned as a failure, if you don't term what you've learned, and how much you are into that. I think that is one of the
Okay,
thing which are biggest one. And you are a face of your company. So
right,
if you are face of your company, you should know how to nurture it. Where you want to take it, it will shape it like that way. So
right.
that is one thing what I have learned during this journey.
Mhm.
Also, how to keep your capital, if you want to talk about the core business,
Okay,
how to keep your capital intact and roll on into a different leg, because one stream will feed another. So you must know
right,
how to handle it. You should not be in a horse mode, that this is only the path, this is only the subject, this is only the way.
right.
You should find out how to spread yourself, not too much, because if you spread too much, in rainy season, PMC
Yeah.
or PWC will come to cut your branches. So, so you must know how to stay
Right.
in shape yet grow.
Earlier in the conversation, you had mentioned some of the things that women have to particularly women have to go through in the business world, where it is still a little bit male dominant. If I'm not wrong to say that. Uh, how do you
Of
tackle
course,
these things?
of
Like
course.
how do you be polite if you're that way, and also tell people in a way, ki, okay, I know what I'm doing. If I need some advice, I'll let you know, but you don't have to give me any unsolicited advice, or you don't have to tell me how to do my business. How do you tackle those things?
To be very honest, that people have nowadays, they are accepting it rather than the
Okay,
community, the platform that I'm catering to. They are actually happy to see that I'm an entrepreneur, and
right,
the first thing they ask you is, where are you working? When I say that I'm a corporate trainer and I have my own firm, and that's running. The first reaction they always do is wow if they're learned and educated. So they will say wow. Uneducated and other person, they will definitely ask you which gym you are into and what is the muscle training and all those stuff. But rather than that, most people are aware that women are big time into business, so challenges has reduced to an
Right.
extent. How you carry yourself, how is your business meet, how you want to follow that is one thing which really gives you that extra edge of confidence. So
Okay.
the handshake matters, the eye contact matters,
Wow.
the
Okay.
English consistency matters. If you are good in your field, within
Right.
5 seconds, uh, the way they used to first predict you that first we will see and then we will judge
Right.
is not that. The casualness in the class moves on.
So, what are Okay. your plans for Trainwell, and what do you hope to achieve in the next 3 years or 5 years?
I have not actually forecasted myself for 5 years down the line. I take
Okay.
it as per day development. But
Right.
what I focus right now is to design it well, to run the organization well, to the optimizing its marketing campaign. That's what
Right.
I feel. I always look up to new technologies that I can introduce to the upcoming budding trainers, where my focus is to nurture the trainers who are in the market, shifting my uh, whole focus towards the corporate to the providing good quality trainers, so that
Right.
there are this community which I belong to, the trainers community. They are strong with their willpower, they can open their
Right.
own institute. The way I can do, anybody can do. In fact, that's what
Right.
I believe in. So if you have good knowledge, in-depth knowledge, not the superficial or surface
Mm-hmm.
level, in-depth knowledge is important. Study well, regularly keep yourself updated. That's what I feel is what I look forward for my 5-year venture. And also opening up a association of trainers where there is an open platform online
Okay.
where they can just join in or register themselves as a trainer, and
Wow.
they would be picked up by the organization as per their skill requirement, as per
Right.
the money they want to shell. And there are A, B, C category of trainers. I categorize them according to their skill level, their experience
Right.
level. And 300, suppose there is a minimum, a medium level organization where they
Right.
cannot spend per hour 12,000 or 10,000 rupees, they can
Right.
always pick according to their budget. So
Right.
that's what the platform has been. We are in process of creating that kind of platform where we host the trainers and we
Right.
host the companies. They can pick and choose the training component as well as trainers.
Wow, that's brilliant, and I wish you good luck for that.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next question. For you, what it means to be an entrepreneur, or what it means to be the owner of a company or of a startup, what it means to you in simple terms.
For me, it is actually independence. That's what word
Right.
first comes to me is you are independent. You
Right.
can actually cater to people who independently thinking or molding according to their needs. So that is
Right.
one. And also, it is time for me to give back to society. So there is no such binding that I'm holding myself to a certain limit only. We
Of
can
course.
do a lot
Right.
of things. So that is two things that comes in my mind immediately if I talk about as a women entrepreneur. When I started thinking of a different platform, I ended up in a different platform.
Right.
And definitely, yes, these are the two things which I feel
Okay.
like.
Okay. Last question. What advice do you have for aspiring women entrepreneurs out there who are still confused if they want to go down a regular path of a 9 to 5 job, which is not wrong, or do they want to follow their passion and do what they like to do and start this a journey of their venture? What advice would you want to give to them?
My first advice I give it to anybody, whoever comes for
Right.
this advice. There are often people who comes to me, find, what have I done, how I have, the journey was up and down.
Of course.
consistency is one thing that you have to
Right.
maintain. So consistency is important. And in the very initial stage, I was working in a corporate, so I know the core of the corporate. I know how their working style, what they exactly
Right.
need, etc. Then I jumped into a business where I knew that these are the things which will definitely be required. So
Of
first
course. Okay.
initial, if you are budding or aspirant entrepreneur and a female, I first advise you to balance yourself. That is, you should be well-being, in a good mental health, healthy,
Mm-hmm.
well knowledged. You know whom you are going to compete with, know your
Right.
competitors well. Uh, Before you start your adventure, or before you start your business, I would advise you to first be working under somebody.
Okay.
So working under somebody will let you know that how difficult it is, or how privileged are you
Right.
when you have 9 to 10 job and you're getting a certain amount of salary debited at the end of the month. And
Right.
then you know what are the constraints, where you have to listen, where you can't listen, where is the argument, etc. What is the working
Okay.
pattern, what is the working style. Once you have absorbed and you know the field within 2 years, then, and you also have certain capital to put
Of
in
course.
your journey of adventure. So that's how you can put in. You're not borrowing or begging in front of anybody, or husband, or
Right.
father, or your uncle, to aid you with. That's the
Yeah.
biggest mistake which as a female we do. So that's how you capitalize yourself, you fund yourself, and then start your journey. That's what I would advise.
That's very insightful. Thank you so much for that. Let's move on to our next round, which is our rapid fire round. Uh, let's move on to our rapid fire round. Again, just a reminder: one word or one sentence answers, no justification required.
Okay.
What was the single best piece of advice you have received throughout the years?
Many, but but the most important, and which I really appreciate, is talk to those who have done it.
Okay, that's smart. That's smart. What was the most considerable risk you took with Trainwell, and how did it turn out?
Um, the risk that I took is to introduce new topic all of a sudden, which was not made for Indian market. I
Okay,
introduced those topics. Those are very challenging because they were unaware of those topic and
right.
those modules at all. It came to me a surprise gift. It was responded so well. People accepted
That's
it so
amazing.
well. And there was I remember I had to say no to, because the batch was running too full that time. So that was
That's amazing.
my, yes, that's what my experiment was, and I'm too happy it came out positive.
That's amazing. Okay, what do you do to maintain a work-life balance as a busy entrepreneur?
Oh. Okay, asking me that question is a very difficult. I will try and answer. So the simple logic that I follow is, when I come home, I suddenly become a mother and a wife, a good wife, nagging wife.
Okay, what's the one thing you always keep with you for good luck? Is there
Oh,
anything,
that's
something like that?
always, yes, yes, that's always my
Okay,
smile.
it's working. It's really good to have that.
Yes, it's a tagline I carry, and everybody says, "आज तुम्हारे दांत में gap दिख रहा है." I said, "Fine, that's a lucky."
What is your favorite hobby outside of work?
Oh, I love a lot of things. I love gymming. That's what my recent
Okay.
passion is. I'm a lot into gymming. I'm a classical dancer beyond that.
Wow,
So I'm a trained classical dancer. I'm a gold medalist from Lucknow Gharana. That's how I'm.
that's brilliant.
Uh,
Wow.
I surf a lot of new ideas whenever I get. I've learned this from my husband. He asked me to go into the net and surf for the new technology so that the business
Okay.
is alive and moves
Yeah,
on.
that's nice. What is the one book that has inspired you the most?
A book recently which I read, I think I'm talking about in the lockdown period, which I read
Right.
is Start with Why. This is
Okay.
a very good book which has been written by Simon Sinek. I don't know whether you know about this or not. It is how great leaders are inspired with everyone to take action. And
Wow.
the first question is asked is why to yourself. Why are you into this?
Wow. Something to look forward to. Uh,
Very good book.
can you share when you felt the proudest of your achievements with Trainwell? One moment, one incident.
Incident when I'm okay, when people walk in come to me and talks about what else we can do, they try to take advices. I'm talking about top notch people, in the sense general manager and
Right.
beyond. When they walk in front of me and ask previously when I enter into the room, they acknowledge me with Mahua, Mahua, Miss Mahua, Mrs. Mahua, or whatever they want to acknowledge. And later
Right.
at the stage, they all of a sudden switch to ma'am. It is very good. I feel that yes, they it, because somebody who calls you as a ma'am at that point of stage, you
Right.
feel that they understood the transformation that they felt in the class. So something
That's
valuable
amazing.
I've added in their life. So that's the reason with my initial name they've transformed to ma'am. Not that I want to hear ma'am from them, but then that gives me that gives me a
But the respect
extra
that comes
boost.
along.
Yes, the respect
That's
that comes
amazing.
along is the
Okay,
exact
this is
word.
an
Yes.
interesting question. Next one. If you could have dinner with any entrepreneur or any celebrity, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
That's interesting. I think I will definitely go with Bill Gates. If
Oh, nice.
Yeah, definitely, because Microsoft was something which was not under millionaires' dream at that time. So he
Right,
started very small. What he had all is the dream, that
right,
small belief in his product, and the company which was started in the garage, and he holded his belief. He tried. People thought he's mad. People thought he's flaunting. People thought he's crazy, but the product that he was with, he was proud of it and he glued to it till
right.
his end. So the idea grew big.
That's amazing. Okay, last question. Can you tell us a personal goal? This has nothing to do with work. A personal goal or a resolution that you want to that you have set for yourself for this year.
Personal goal. If I look to my future, the thing that I want to really go beyond after, if I'm not into this profession, I would really want to open a food joint, you know,
Oh, nice.
food joint, simple street food which caters to simple category, quick Indian snacking. What you say is,
Yes.
very light, simple, which I found that all international airports are lacking.
That's actually a good observation.
So whenever I traveled, etc., I used to find, yaar, mujhe dosa khana hai. Not those burgers and etc. So quick joint anywhere. It can be any of the. Even if you go to the mall, etc., there are lacking a quick snacking which you can just wrap, pick and move, rather than burger, subway, etc. So
Right.
something which is Indianized, something which is very local. That's what one of the dream is, and keep experimenting new ideas. I'm very much experimental
That's
person.
amazing. I
I
can
keep
I can help you
experimenting.
with the food joint dream of yours. We can work together. We can make
Wonderful.
that happen.
I would
uh,
really look forward to.
So that concludes our rapid fire round. Even I started my entrepreneurial journey quite recently, and I'm trying to learn from wherever I can, from interviews with people like you who have been in the industry for so long, have so much knowledge and insights to impart to the younger generation like us. So it was lovely talking to you and knowing about your journey. Thank you so much for sparing the time. I hope that our paths cross again, and hope to work with you soon enough. Uh, and that's it. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This interview was very interesting. You asked very tricky questions, which was so I could walk through it. That's proud. And I hope you liked all the questions answered well as